Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy John, aka Spears here. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my controller settings, and not just that, but the must change settings before diving into Battlefield 6 RedSec. These settings will make a massive difference, not only in how your controller feels, but also how the game operates just in general and your overall experience. So if that is interesting to you, make sure to stick through the whole video. If you guys are interested in any more tips, tricks, or guides, make sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe, as I'll have more of those coming out in the future. Lastly, if I miss anything in the video that I should be changing myself or you want other people to know about, leave them in the comment section down below. With all that out of the way though, let's get into the settings. If you guys are currently playing Battlefield 6 on a PlayStation controller or a PS5 controller on PC, there is a reason why your controller feels horrible, and that is because it's currently bugged. The developers are coming out with a fix for that in the future, but the fix for right now is going to be enabling Steam input, which basically, since I am playing on a PlayStation controller, Steam overrides my PlayStation controller and makes the game think it's an Xbox controller, which fixes the dead zone issue, which is why you're going to see why my game is picking up my controller as an Xbox controller. But as of right now, if you are on a PlayStation controller using Steam input, it's going to make your game feel 1,000 times better. So I highly recommend you guys go ahead and do that. In the controller settings, I'm going to be honest, this is just what feels right to me and what makes this feel mostly like Call of Duty. Again, for me, all of this is subjective. You can copy my settings and use them as a jumping off point, but I'm not going to go into too much detail because there's tons of videos out there and I just don't want this to be a super long-winded video. So my aim infantry setting is 45. Moving on down, 56 seems to be what everybody is falling on. This is just the vertical aim ratio default. The vertical zoom ratio, I just match these two, and in this game they split up aim, which is like your normal looking around sensitivity, and then zoom, which is when you're ADS'd. I recommend for the most part having these absolutely matching anywhere that you see zoom and aim, just so that way there's as much consistency when you're just looking around in the world and when you're aiming, because that's how it is in Call of Duty. So going on down, infantry aim assist I have on 100, and then the aim assist slowdown, this is going to make a big difference I think for a lot of people by putting this to 85. This is just going to make the controller feel a little bit more responsive. The aim assist in this game, I would say, is very, very strong, and they can do that because of the bloom that's in the game. Not every gun is shooting exactly where you're aiming, so you can have it aim for you a little bit more. But for me, I don't really like that. I end up fighting the aim assist more than anything, and it ends up costing me in the end. So I ended up turning this down to 85. I will say when I am sniping, I do usually bump this down to 75, but you gotta have to be cognizant because it does make sniping a little bit easier and better on controller, but it also means that your SMGs, ARs, all those other engagements that you're going to get into are going to be a little bit wonkier because you're going to have a little less aim assist. The input curve, I just found that this BF1, BF4 works best with my 45 sensitivity. Again, you could change to different input curves, but if you're going to do that, feel free to go ahead and adjust the aim sensitivity, because you can see the curves here. Some of them ramp up really fast, some of them ramp up a lot slower, and when they ramp up a lot slower, you're going to want to go ahead and probably play a little bit higher of a sensitivity. It's just some are more kind of dynamic, if you will, and some of them are more flat. The BF1, BF4 is a little bit more on the dynamic side in terms of there's a big exponential curve, and so I play a little bit lower of a sensitivity because it's going to feel faster, but I feel like it has the closest feeling to Call of Duty. They did add an actual dynamic curve to this. Do not recommend it. Stick acceleration preset, I'm using this one right here, and then I'm using it on 18. It's just enough that I can feel it a little bit, but it's not that I lose all control over my controller, so this just feels good to me. A lot of people are asking me, how do I get auto tac sprint in this game? It's going to be by setting your sprint bind here to up on the left stick. So just when you click forward on the left stick, you're going to go ahead and go right into a sprint. Now, if you do that, make sure that your crouch toggle sprint is set to crouch, because this is going to make it so that way when you are crouching and then you start sprinting, your character isn't going to stand up. He's going to stay crouched and do that little goblin run. Another setting to make it feel more like Call of Duty is the double tap crouch for sprint slide. Basically, this is going to be double tap slide. You turn it off, it goes to single tap slide, which is going to make it feel more like Call of Duty. I do play flipped, so my zoom is LB, but I'll go into my controller binds after this. Infantry zoom sensitivity, I have this on 1, and then I do have the smoothing enabled. The smoothing, essentially, if you have this off, it's going to be really jarring, and it's going to be, as soon as you hit the ADS button, your sensitivity is going to change abruptly, whereas with the smoothing, it's going to gradually change. And for me, I prefer the gradual change. It just feels a lot better, more natural. So these are the settings I'm using. Obviously, you can see as I get around the 4X, I start bumping it up because that's what I'm going to be using when I'm sniping, and I like to have a little bit faster of a sniper scope. So moving on down here, there's really nothing you need to change on this end. Make sure that your gyro button is disabled, your aiming mode on the gyro is disabled, and your flick stick is disabled. Those are going to be crucial. Getting over to the infantry passenger control mapping, here is where it gets a little bit confusing because it's just confusing, to put it lightly. So I ping with LT, and then I do the abilities or whatever with R, and the grenades with RT. That's because I play flipped. I shoot with my bumpers. So basically, if you want to shoot with your bumpers, anywhere where you would see like this would be left bumper and this would be right bumper, just switch them to your LT, RT, and then for anywhere, again, this would have been RT, so I switched it with RB, my right bumper. And then you can see here my sprint effect has taken over in this bind here from before. And then my crouch toggle, I'm crouching with the right stick, which is going to be like flipped. And then I'm also meleeing with B, which is circle on a PlayStation controller. And then my fire is RB, and now my aim is zoom. So hopefully that makes sense. These are the binds for anybody who wants it. The only other thing I would recommend that would help is if you're using a rangefinder on your sniper, go ahead and click this button for the toggle scope, and then your rangefinder zeroing if zoomed be left stick as well. So basically, when you go ahead and hold your breath when you're sniping, the rangefinder will automatically zero instantly, and then you don't have to account for drop or lead. Your sniper will be zeroed exactly where the person is right before you shoot. So you just put the reticle on their head and you'll hit a headshot every single time. Highly recommend you guys do that. For vehicles, these are all preference. I could just quickly run through them in case anybody wants to pause. I haven't really fine-tuned these too much, but if that is something that you're looking for, a jumping off point, this is mine. You could go ahead, pause the video, whatever you need to do. Moving down, this is probably the most important settings in general, is going to be your controller tuning. This is where you can turn off your vibrations, but also set your dead zones. In this game, I don't have any stick drift. I have TMR sticks, but in this game, if you're moving at all when you're shooting, you get a crazy amount of bloom. So that is why I'm putting my left stick center dead zone on 2. So that way I can, when I do stop, I have a little bit of leeway before my stick thinks I'm moving again, because for the most part, again, you just don't want to be moving. My axial dead zone, I put on 0. Center dead zone for my right stick, again, I want as responsive as possible. I'm on 0. Axial dead zone on 0. And then these are just pretty much default. I'll just turn down my max input threshold, but I play with mouse click triggers, so it's pretty much doesn't matter because as soon as I click them, they're engaged versus not. So now getting into settings that you should 100% change that are going to give you an advantage in this game are going to be moving on here. Infantry HUD motion, you want anything that is motion turned off. I do play with my HUD padding on 100. In the advanced icon setting area, you want to put show kills made by and set it to all. This is going to give you a lobby kill feed, letting you know who's in your lobby and if they're getting kills, and then you can kind of keep an eye on it as the game goes on, and you know, then you can kind of figure out who's on whose team. Number 1, number 2, gives you more info in a fight. If you've seen so-and-so's teammate died earlier in the game and you get a knock on him, you can kind of do the math and figure out how many are left. That is kind of an advanced player thing, but for me, I like seeing the whole lobby kill feed icons. I leave those on so that way I can see how people are dying, etc. Moving on down, show resources. You want to go ahead and put this on because this is going to show the resources gained from other players and gadgets. Just lets you know what you're picking up, what's going on. Loot, all that is normal. I turned down my objectives size scale. All of this is pretty much default. Enemy icon scale, I turn that down, I think a little bit by 8, just so it's a little bit more precise in my mini map. And then moving on down here, so that is the kill feed alone is going to be a big difference. But then this is where it gets even crazier because your mini map size, you can set that to 100, or sorry, you can set it to large. You set your cone edge opacity to 100. Your view distance on foot, you want to turn this up to 300. It's going to basically zoom out your mini map so you can see more around you. And then I obviously 300 on the ground vehicle, so it's consistent. Moving on down here, pretty much all of this is default. I do like a yellow crosshair, and then I have the projection turned off so that way it is static. The headshot color, changing this helps out a lot because it gives you a visual indicator when you're hitting somebody for a headshot. You will get a gold hit marker, which for me, gold is good, so I like seeing that. Armor hit color I have on purple, so that way I know I'm hitting them for armor. It's very easy to see. And then hit color, this is going to be when you're hitting them for flesh and not plates. So when you do break their armor, the hit color will go from purple to white, and then you can kind of do the math and figure out how much more damage you have to do. Obviously you want the broken indicator on as well. And then I have my hit indicator number size on medium. It is by default on small, but this way it's a little bit easier to see that number and it stands out more, so I can kind of let my teammates know exactly how much I'm hitting the enemies for. And then I have the chat set to hide. Moving on to the audio, as of right now, there's nothing for footsteps. There's no way to hear footsteps. I know Art is cooking right now. He sent me some clips and some stuff he's testing, and there is very promising stuff in the future, but as of right now, there's just nothing. There are no footsteps. I turned my music volume off. The commander volume I turned to 80. I'm playing on 7.1 surround sound with high dynamics, and I have my music in the menus off. Everything else is pretty much default. I am using Artist Wars audio for Warzone on this game just because honestly I'm too lazy to swap it, and I don't think there's anything you can do at this moment to hear footsteps better. I just think they're kind of non-existent, so do with that information as you will. Another must change setting is going to be in your network graph. This is going, you want to enable network widgets. Basically this will let you know, like in COD, how you get packet burst. These are those icons that will pop up. And then the show network performance bar, I have this set to always. At the top of your screen, you'll just have a bunch of information basically to tell you your ping. In the middle, it'll say like latency or something, so then you know what your ping is to the server. And then I also have show network performance graphs, and I have that set to on problems. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what it's showing on the network graphs, but what I do know is that they are big and they will grab my attention. And so if the game is detecting I'm having any kind of network issues, I have these big graphs pop up. Again, I have no idea what they're saying or how to read them, but I just know if I see those graphs, I'm probably lagging and I'm gonna have some problems in some gunfights. So I do leave that on problems, and that honestly is a big help, because I think if you also do this, you will notice when you are in the plane loading in, it'll pop up for a second because you're connecting to the server or whatever, and then it goes away. But it's just a good thing to have on. And then these are my graphics settings right now, and I can quick run through all of them for anybody who wants to copy them. Pretty much all low and everything like that. Advanced settings are here. I do play with enable plus boost, and then I'm using this anti-aliasing because it seems to have taken some of the blurriness, I guess, away from the game at distance and made it a lot easier for me to see. In here in graphics, these are very important. Set this to wide. You want all your camera shake and everything off, all of that off. And then I play on full screen. I know some people say you could play not on full screen, you play on borderless to get the same performance. Listen, I play on full screen. I only want my PC to be focused on the game. Anyway, guys, that about wraps it up for my settings video. If you guys are interested at all, like I said, in any more guides in the future, tips, tricks, anything Battlefield 6, RedSec related, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications set to all. I hope this video helped you out. Let me know in the comment section down below if there's anything I missed, anything I should be using. If you guys have any questions and you want to answer ASAP, you can come say hi to me if I'm live on YouTube. I'll try to answer your questions. Or if I'm live on Twitch, you can check the link in the description to find me there and ask any of your questions. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.